ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today what we're doing is going over a deck profile of the yellow caller lead from Fusion World. So what I'm going to try and do is do a deck list for each of the leaders, all four starters, and the 8 leaders in the main set, and basically just go over a base list so that way if you're interested in playing any of these leads, you've got like a base list to kind of start you off, and then can change it up. And also behind the list as well, giving it a little bit of an explanation behind why some of the cards are picked and when we've got the ratios and stuff, just to help you out, give you a better understanding. So when it comes to building your own after testing it, you can kind of have a bit more understanding when it comes to amending it for yourself or building your own list. And today we're going to be over Cooler because I feel like Cooler is quite a nice one. He's got a very cool effect, and he seems to be one of those ones where as the game goes on, we get more cards and more things, stronger cards and better cards that kind of work well with it. Then it be going stronger because Frieza clan is one of the a big thing. There's quite a few characters for the Frieza clan. He gives you the benefit of that, and as we get more potential draw power, more ways to kind of awaken quicker, it could be a lot stronger in future. But for now, we're going to list to see what it could do for a set 1. But before we do go into the video, feel free to, you can help out the channel by doing a few things. First thing is liking the video if you enjoy it and like the kind of content, like deck profiles I do. Comment down below if there's any queries you have regarding something I might not answer in the video, any choices you have that I might have not picked up on because I might have missed them, or if there's any content you want to see on the channel, just comment below. And lastly, the main way you can do it, because we're on the way to 1,000 subs, is dropping a subscribe to the channel, because it helps you out. By subscribing, it keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop. And if you click the notification bell, you get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you can then watch them there and then, or at a later time. So, with that out of the way, let's go in and have a look at Cooler for set 1. So we'll do what we normally do with the leads, is we'll have a look at the lead first. And nice thing about Deck Planet being the best and only deck building website for the Dragon Ball Super card games, you can see it the leaders up and close even when the content creator view, so you can kind of have a look at them and get a very nice interface, very easy to use. If you want to check out Deck Planet to go and build your decks and check out the card list as well. So one thing about Cooler is that it's a crit leader, and this is something that 3 of the 4 colors get. Green doesn't have it, so it's like red, blue, and yellow all have it. They each have one lead that's critical, and it's one of the 2 kinds of leaders you kind of get. You either get a draw leader, which are the ones that want to attack, they draw a card on both sides, and you got the crit leaders, which don't draw a card, instead they have critical, which what critical does is if you do damage, instead of life go into their hand when they take damage, it goes to their drop area instead, so you deny them a resource. And they kind of make up for the fact that you're not drawing, and they make sure that critical is harder to get out of. You've got a permanent where during your turn you gain 5k power. So while you don't draw, you're still pushing 20k crit when you swing. So you're not getting any resources yourself, but you're denying your opponent resources by either making them combo out of it by losing card from hand, or that life doesn't go to the hand. So you're kind of keeping the same kind of cards, and it seems to be how they're going with hand control in this game. And as well as that, basically most of the leaders in this game, is got an awaken where at 4 less life you draw one card and flip over. Now if you're playing from One Piece, this is a different mechanic that you might be used to, because these leaders in Dragon Ball, they have 2 sides. They have a front side and a back side, and they've got the awaken mechanic, which is where once your life's gone down to halfway, or halfway through your life, you then get a little power boost to help fight back a little bit harder. Because the nice thing about this is it's got a fight back mechanic in Dragon Ball. So if you played Pokemon, you understand that from having your prize cards out, and as you start knocking out Pokemon, you get more prizes. Kind of if you're winning, if you're winning, you're winning harder kind of mechanic. Whereas Dragon Ball has the opposite of that, where if you're taking hits, you get instead of knocking things out and doing damage to be able to get more cards. If you're doing damage to your opponent, they get more cards to help fight back. And once you get halfway through the life in this game, you get to awaken, essentially flip your leader over, become a bit stronger both in your stats and with a more beneficial effect. So in Corner's case, he flips over from being a 15k to a 20k, also visual difference as well, going from his final form to his even fairer form. And when he does awaken and go into his new side, to his backside, he's now 20k base, so 15k, so a little bit stronger. And now he's got the when attacking, draw one card effect. So he starts gaining advantage like most of the other leaders do. Now he can attack and draw cards rather than deny your opponent resources. and that's relevant because he's got a really nice activate main that is costly and needs cards for it. Because it's an activate main slash battle, meaning you can either activate during your turn, during your main phase, or battle phase, and during your opponent's turn, during their battle. So you can do it during combat, either player's turn, but only activate during the main phase of your turn. It's also once per turn, and there is a cost to it, meaning you have to discard one card from your hand. So that's one problem with this lead, is that you don't kind of gain many cards until you awaken. So discarding a card is quite costly, but it is quite beneficial, because any effect allows you to choose up to one of your battle cards that has a cost of 4 or less, a Frieza clan in its special trait, or one of your energy switch to active mode. Now it's really nice, being able to get an extra energy every turn is quite cool, even though it's a cost of the card, or being able to switch one of your Frieza clan cards is quite good. And considering that yellow is like the Frieza clan color, or like the Frieza army color, like holding about the Frieza clan and Frieza army cards, there's so many cards that are Frieza or Frieza's army. So there's a few Frieza clans, and like there's quite a few Frieza clans as well, with like Chilled, Frost, King Cold, Cooler, things like that. There's could be quite a few targets and more targets in the future, and there's some pretty good ones to go with this as well. Now it is quite limited to 4 cost or less, but then it would be a bit busted if you can get your double striker being a 5 cost to be able to swing twice by discarding a card. That would be pretty nasty. But even then, getting energy during either your turn or your opponent's turn, either your turn to play more things, or defensively to be able to use some of your battle tricks, is really handy. So that's one of the benefits of Cooler. The only problem it kind of has is it can awaken insanely quickly, and you want to kind of awaken quickly because you don't really care about the crit side too much in yellow. You care about the drawing, so you can kind of like make more use of your awaken side. So that is one thing for it. Hopefully if we get like faster ways to awaken or more ways to awaken in future sets, this could be a little bit better and potentially be very strong. So let's lead it out of the way. And the nice thing, I think the one thing Cooler really has going for it in the Infusion world is that it's got some of the best alt arts. Like, not counting secret rares, I reckon it has the best alt arts for its cards. They just look really nice. Look at the leader. Like, the leader looks absolutely amazing, and that's one of the best things that go on throwing. Unfortunately, in every straight ways, like effects and strength is not the greatest, but its alt art's probably the best in the game, outside of secret rares. So that's the leader out of the way. Now let's have a look at the main list and look at the some of the cards in the deck. So when I do these deck lists, I like to go from kind of a low costing to the higher costing, so you can kind of see like what the cards you have for like the early turns, leading up then to the later turns. So like some of your main plays. So starting off with some of the turn 1 plays you can do, like the 1 energy plays. You got Cantrip, being Sorbet. So you know what Cantrip means. Cantrip essentially refers to a card that when played replaces itself, and these are the only ones that are guaranteed to draw. So like with Sorbet, just on play and draw one card. And a nice thing with this game is that it's kind of simplified the auto, so rather than like in Masters where it's auto and then describes where when this card is played, draw a card, is instead of saying auto, it's just got a trick, like just showing in the little box when it's played. So on play, when it triggers, draw a card. Simplifies the text, it's not a mountain of it, just to basically say draw a card. So we'll 4 cups of this because these are just really handy cards. Just use up some of your excess energy and just help you draw for your deck quicker to find some of your things you want to see, so your main cards you're looking for, and then use them as combat powered either defensively or offensively. And then we've got 4 copies of Zarbon. So this is a searcher in yellow, and a pretty good one, probably one of the best searchers in the game, I would say, because there are searchers in each colour, and some are quite nice. Like, you got some ones like red, you got the extra card ones which have a lot of things you can search for, but the extra cards meaning that they're not as great defensively or like offensively, whereas searches with a body, they can be played, get their effect, and they're comboable, and even comboable from hand, offensively or defensively. Zom is just like that, same stats as Orbe, but his effect is on play. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then reveal up to one card that includes Frieza in its card name, add it to your hand, and place the rest of the bottom of your deck in a random order. Now, that's one thing that kind of changes with Fusion Water Masters, is that you don't shuffle your deck. When you do a search, you put it to the bottom of your deck randomly after grabbing a card you can grab from it. And that means that generally, if you put something to the bottom deck, it's going to have a hard time finding it unless you can draw for your deck. Luckily, yellow has a lot of draw power, just unfortunately, Cooler is not one of the yellow leaders that can do that. But this is really nice because how it's worded, it just includes like search for a card that's Frieza in its card name. So there's not so many ones that search for a specific name, like look for like Android 17 or anything like that. It looks for features in the card name. And there's a fair few Friezas, and Frieza has a few forms as well. So you got the normal Friezas, you got Mecha Freeze, and you also got Golden Frieza. And because all this worded just includes Frieza's name, you don't have to search for ones that are just called Frieza. You can grab a Golden Frieza because that's Frieza's name, say for Mecha Freeza, because they both have Frieza in its card name. It can grab for that. Now, it was bugged in the beta. That's because that was an issue which with the beta, there again, beta is the beta, just testing out to see what it's like. So hopefully that's fixed for when the digital client comes out, because I don't think that was a mistake in the card text. I think it was a mistake in the beta. But you play 4 of each of these because they're good turn 1 plays and like good to just fill for your deck. I have a Sword Beta Royal card, or Sword Beta find one of your useful great freezers because there's quite a few freezers in this game. In yellow. Then next we go on to having 4 copies of Banan. Now Banan is I feel it's like an MVP. It's got great. It's one thing that makes the Star Deck Frieza lead one of the best leads in the game is due to its Awaken side effect, which is at the end of your turn, you get to untap 2 of your battle cards. And Banan kind of does that with a little bit more restriction, and that is at the end of your turn, you choose it to one of your rest mode battle cards with Frieza Army and its special traits, and switch to active mode. So whereas Frieza switches any 2 battle cards to active mode from rest, this one switches any Frieza's army, so he can hit himself or any other Frieza army. There's quite a few Frieza armies. Now, one thing that it doesn't go well together with Cooler, like with its effect, because Cooler restands Frieza army, well, Frieza clan, whereas restands Frieza army. Luckily, Frieza cards are generally Frieza clan and Frieza army, and there's so many good Frieza cards in this deck. So we play 4 copies of this because it's a good turn 2 play. Because at 15k you can swing at your opponent's battle card to kind of help manage your board, and then restand in the turn because itself is Frieza army. And one thing is it's also a 10k combo, which is very, very handy. Now for the next card we've got 4 copies of Nez, and this is a really handy one because it's a nice little self-awakener. Now this is basically the same as Zarbon from the Star Deck, but it has there's 2 notable differences between each other. They both have the same power, the same cost, the same skill and blocker, but then it's their combo cost and their on play that kind of differs. So where Nez is a 10k combo, well, and their stats as well. Whereas Nez is a Calder's Army Squadron, Zarbon is a Frieza Army, so it has kind of a synergy with Banan and things like that. Whereas Nez is a 10k combo, Zarbon is a 5k, and with their on play kind of differences. So with Nez, its on players add 1 card from your life to hand, meaning when you play it, you have to take a life. There's no optional taking a life, you have to take a life. Whereas Zarbon, his on play is add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, meaning you don't have to take a life if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. So that's the main differences, being Nez has more combo power, but if you play it, you have to take a life, whereas Zarbon is weaker combo power, being 5k, but it's optional to take a life, so you can play it even when you don't want to take a life, and just choose not to take one, choose 0, because when it says up to, it means you can take 0 to 1, depending, like up to 1 it says 0 or 1, so with Zarbon you can pick 0 instead of 1, whereas Nez you have to take a life. Now this could be quite annoying, because you might want to have a blocker out, but I prefer Nez over Zarbon, even though Zarbon's got synergy with Banan, and got optional to play it without taking a life. The 10k combo is really beneficial, just helping the more combo power to help combo out, because you don't want too many 5ks or like 0 combo costs. So when you come in defensively trying to combo out of things, you then lack the combo power, so 10k is quite handy. And this is just handy for when you see it early, you can drop it, and then you can take a life awaken, it's still 20k swing or 20k block, and in a later game be able to combo it. But if you prefer more synergy, and you don't care about too much about having this as like one less 10k, you can put Zarbon instead. So this one with Zarbon, it comes kind of with their personal preference. Just I prefer to have Nez because I like the combat power in it. If you have 4 copies of this because it's just a very handy one, you kind of want to use this to awaken, and then the combat power is always just useful. Then we've got 4 copies of Ginu for us. So this is probably another card that can probably have more of, I think having Zarbon instead of Nez can give it a benefit, and this is Ginu. So Ginu is a really handy one, 2 cost 20k, 5k combo, and it's got a great on-play effect, where if you have 3 more battle cards with Frieza Army and the special traits, switch up to 2 of your energy active mode, then you can't play Ginu for the turn. Now, Generally, this is played with Raccoon, so you can play Raccoon out, then free play this out, and then if you got, and then with itself and Raccoon being two of the free Frieza army on board, and having every Frieza army, you can untap 2 energy, meaning you just paid out 220Ks for 1 energy essentially. Now it could be handy, but then I felt space was tight to put in the Raccoons as well. And sometimes if you just can't keep a Never Freeze army on board before dropping the Raccoon with the Ginu, it's not as great, and then you start with 2 5Ks in hand, which isn't the best. But I feel like having just the 4 Ginu is in play is still good, because if you've got at least 2 Ever Freeze armies at any point, you can just play this out for a free 20k and then tap the same energy, because you untap 2 and it costs 2 itself. So I feel 4 copies of this is quite handy, and is probably another reason more to play Zarbons over Nez. Just still, I prefer the 10k for Nez, but if you feel you want more synergy to have more options, then feel free to play Zarbons over Nez. Play 4 copies of it, because just having every turn after turn a free 20k you can just play out for nothing is very handy. And then next we've got the super combo. So every deck needs a super combo, so super combos, just like in Masters, are just one of those cards that are mandatory in every decks, but they're a little bit different to Masters, where in Masters they essentially the maximum combo power you can get out of a card being 10k for free, because you essentially replace it by the super combos Masters drawing a card when used. In this game, they don't really replace themselves, but they provide big combo in just one card. So rather than being 10k, they're still 10k offensively, but they aim to be more defensively in this game, where if you use defensively, like combo during your opponent's turn, as long as you combo it from your hand, it provides an extra 10k combo, being a 20k combo from one card defensively, meaning that when you're defending out of attacks, you can do it easier with super combo. And because of how strong they are, they've got the super combo skill where they're limited to 4 copies of a card with super combo in your deck. So when looking to build a deck, make sure you put your super combos in first, because you want to make sure you have those, and then start putting everything else in after. And because with this, we've got Chile. Even though we don't play much that synergizes with kind of finding this, like Apple and stuff like that, we still play this one because you can get the full art compared to now. Then we're going to go into some of the Frieza cards, and some of the Frieza cards are strong in this game for yellow. So, starting off with the first Frieza card, we've got is 4 copies of our One-Drop Frieza. So this is a really handy one, just from the starter deck, 1 energy, 10k power, 10k combos, which is really good, and on play, just be able to choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. Switch any of your opponent's battle cards to rest mode, so your opponent's got something and annoying you want off basically, but you can't get rid of it, because yellow does kind of lack removal, but you want to kind of get rid of it. You can switch to rest mode using this card and attack with it, and then attack into it. And the handy thing about that is that you can then start swinging things to kind of force your opponent either to combo out or lose the card. And at the very least, also a 10k combo as well, so it's good combo power as well. And then now we got the Ever Frieza from the starter deck, being the 2-cost Frieza. And this is a very handy and strong way to awaken, because it's got a very handy effect of being a 2-cost 20k, so good power to cost ratio. 35k combo, which is another reason why I feel Nez is like more preferred for me compared to Zarbon, because you've got quite a few 5ks just in some of your stronger cards. And it's got a very nice effect when attacking. You can add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and then you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards which cost 3 or less, which is the rest mode. So this is really handy where if your opponent's got little cantrips or searchers or even blockers that are quite low cost, and you got them ready to defend or combo off, you can switch to rest mode, so either you got something else to attack into, or so denying your opponent from using them to defend their card easier, start using cards from hand. So we have 4 copies of this, because it's a Frieza clan as well, so when you're awakened, you can start restanding this to be able to attack, so you can kind of tap down to your opponent's board, so some of the things they've got for free to combo off to defend things, you can put in rest so they can't use them, or give you more options to kind of help clear their board a little bit easier. The next one we've got is our Golden Frieza. Now we play 2 copies of this, because where this deck kind of lacks control power, you don't want too many cards that are kind of low combo power or no combo power to kind of defend yourself. And considering we have Zarbon, you got easy ways to kind of search this, filter through your deck to kind of find it. So 2 copies of fill is a decent amount. If you put a bit more, you got more chance of drawing more copies of it, and then having lack of combo power defensively, or not even seeing it, and choosing enough to see it for the later game once you're awakened. And it's a very handy one because every leader's got a double striker. It's just very handy to help deal deal more damage to your opponent in less swings to kind of finish off the game. Because when you instead of having to do 8 damage by doing 8 attacks to push your opponent down to 0, take their all the life and then win the game, you can do this in 7 attacks, doing 6 damage, taking down the 2 life, and then doing the last 2 in one swing with Golden Frieza. And where yellow once again kind of lacks in removal, Golden Frieza has a good way to kind of mitigate that by choosing when it swings. Be able to choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and keep it locked down in rest mode until the end of your opponent's next turn, meaning that they can't restand it during their turn to attack or use, and you can do this every time it attacks, meaning you can keep that thing locked down until they get rid of Frieza. Now, unfortunately, the Frieza is just outside the cost to be able to restand with lead because it's a 5 cost, but if the lead can restand any Frieza army or Frieza clan, that'd be very busted getting 2 swings at this every turn. So I think you can all agree that's a good call. Now we're going to the end of the list as well, the end of the cards, and we've got a nice little combo here that I feel is very good, very cost effective, and very strong for yellow, and that is Mecha Freezer mixed with King Cold. Now, Mecha Freeze is quite a nice one. It's quite expensive in 5 costs and 25k, so not the biggest amount of power, but still not too bad for a 5 cost. At the very least, if you're going against Broly, that's still swinging at his base power on the Awakened side, being 25k. And both of them are both 10k combos, so once again, some good amount of combo power defensively. And they're both 25k swings, so it's 2 25k swings for 9 energy. You might be thinking, how do you get that? Well, Mecha Freeze has on-play effect, where on play, you can play up to 1 King Cold with a cost of 4 from your hand. Now, unfortunately, there's not many targets, there's only 2. There's the SR, which you should see on the screen, which is the SR from the start deck, the King Cold from the start deck, a blocker with a 1 KO'd, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. Now, that's a really nice effect, but it's only 25k power. And there's another King Cold that's stronger, but is a skillless, so it's another 4 cost King Cold, 30k power, 10k combo, but it's skillless, so you can choose which one you prefer. If you prefer to have a 25k that still threatens every leader at least based power, with an extra beneficial effect and also potential blocker to kind of be more effective and more useful in just being a big beat stick. Or you can go with the big beat stick, just problem something bigger, harder to get rid of, and just hitting hard. And remember that King Cold being a 4 cost in both its cards means it can be restored with the lead, so you can get an extra 25k swing or 35k swing for this. And then again, playing 5 energy to bring out 9 energy worth of cards, being 2 big beat sticks, is very handy. And that's why we've got this combo, because I feel it's very good in a lead that kind of like struggles with draw, getting out, making the most use of your energy with the cards you have. And also remember that both Mecha Freeze and Golden Freeze are searchable by Zarbon, because they both include Frieza in the card name like the card text says. And then you might be thinking, we're done with the Freezes, there's quite a few Freezes you can search. We've got a good 4, 8, 10, 14 Freezes. That's not all. We also have another one in the Frieza SR as well, the main set. So another Freezer you can add to what Zarbon can search, giving it a lot of consistency, making it so you should be rare when you whiff. Just remember, when you do play Zarbon, do take into consideration how many Freezes you've seen in your hand, energy, and drop, and how many you have in your deck. So we know that we've got 18 copies. If you've seen over half of those, there could be a chance that if you haven't gone through much of your deck and seen half of the Freezes, you might whiff on Zarbon, so be careful of that. But if you haven't seen any Freezes in your hand in the opening game and you got a Zarbon, you should be likely to find one. And this Frieza is a really nice one. It's 4 energy as well, so it's within range of Frieza of a Cooler to restand. A huge amount of power and 40k on a 4 cost body, so it's less costing and stronger than your 5 drop. Also having combo power, which is a little plus, getting that 5k combo. But it's got a negative side, and it's permanent, being this card can't be switched to active mode in your charge phase. And that's where I feel like playing Banan early before you get to turn 4 to be able to play these Friezas is very useful, because you get this banana. And what doesn't serve the greatest purpose in the beginning of the game, when you get to your turn 4, or your 4 energy plays, and you can start playing these Freezers out, you can kind of mitigate this negative permanent on the card by being able to swing with it, 40k, use lead, restand it, swing there, 40k. Then at the end of the turn, you use Banan to then restand the Freezer, because it also is a Freezer clan and Freezer army, and then allows you to basically have it in active mode, so when it comes to your next charge phase, it's already in active mode, so you don't have to worry about the permanent not letting it untap. So, I feel that's one nice little combo with the Banana. One of my favourite things about Banana is just restanding some really good cards. and just playing the Banan early to basically then when you drop the Freezers, having that benefit of that, being able to get 2 swings out of it, and then restand it at the end of phase using Banan, so it's then ready to go again next turn, and then play more Freezers the turn after, is really cool. So what comes out, so a lot of targets are Freezers, so you should really hardly whiff off Starbomb, but do be careful about how many you've seen before playing it, because you don't want to whiff, because it could be very, very costly with Cooler, considering there's lack of draw. And then the last card we have in the deck is 4 copies of Supernova. Now that's really handy, because it's a battle trick, but it's only an aggressive one, not defensive one. So be careful if you've got any of these in your hand, because you could they could be dead defensively. But luckily, if you do have them in your hand, you can always discard them from your opponent's during your opponent's turn to restand some things like your King Cold Blocker to help them block an attack by losing this and restanding the card. So even though the extra cards could be used offensively, there's still some uses of it being used for fodder for lead defensively. And even then, if your opponent thinks you're tapped out after like tapping out the play, and you swing with a battle card, so you freeze, and your opponent thinks that's okay, you can then discard a deck card in your hand, like a Golden Frieza or another copy of this. So you can then play it at one tap energy, chuck a Supernova down, and Supernova is really handy, where it's like an offensive super combo, plus with some benefits. Because it's activate battle during your turn, you choose your leader or one of your battle cards. It gets 20k power for the battle, and then you get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode with a cost of 4 or less, and make it so it can't switch to active mode during your opponent's next turn. Meaning you can not only give a huge 2000 boost to one of your battle cards or leader cards for that battle, but you also get to keep something locked down as 4 costs or less on your opponent's side of the board, so you get the use of it if they do survive. So it's really handy. Remember, it still can be charged for energy or discarded from your leader's effect or anything like that. So it's not always dead in hand, because your leader's got that nice little benefit of untapping say a King Cold to defend yourself with defensively if you are stuck with that in hand. So that is the leader, that is the deck, and that is it. So I like to keep the decks down to 50 because currently in the game there's no reason to go 50 cards. You want to keep to 50 because it makes your deck as consistent as possible, and you want to make sure you're using cards that get like synergy. And luckily, one thing I love with yellow is that the different combos, different synergy with cards is a lot more potent than in most of the other colours, where it only has a few kind of synergies, where this one has like loads of different fun combos. And that's it. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free to hit the comments and let me know about it. And also I look forward to seeing you or people having fun and trying out this list. Like Calder might not be the best lead in the game currently, but it has potential to be a lot stronger in the future, and also a lot of fun, and has some of the best alt arts as well. So that's me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.